Hi, this is Seymour from fitnessinstructorrevolution.com with video 8 in our series of 20 FAQs to tell you everything you need to know about starting your own fitness business teaching group exercise classes. So question number 8, a really important question: where should I advertise? And before I go on to the answer to that question, I'm going to show you something that's really important that you understand this point. If nothing else in the other 19 FAQs that I say actually goes in or means anything to you, please have a look at what I'm about to show you now, because it will matter a lot. Right. The only place that you should advertise is wherever your advert generates more income than the cost of the advert itself. I'll go over it again. You should advertise anywhere and everywhere that your advert generates more income than the cost of the advert itself. I hope that makes sense. Essentially, if your advert pays for itself, do it, and do it as much as you can. If it doesn't, don't do it. It's a really simple concept, but it's a really important one. And if you understand that, then you are way ahead of most other fitness professionals and most of the business people out there. So in terms of where that actually is in reality, as a local fitness instructor, you've got lots of options available to you. You've got local press, you've got leaflets, you've got shop windows, you've got online advertising like Google and things. You've got local free newspapers. You could go on and on and on. And the honest answer is, where you should advertise out of all those depends entirely. Which of those adverts, if you run an advert, pay for themselves. Any of all of those are equally valid if the advert pays for itself. There are some that are more expensive. Local press is obviously a lot more expensive than some of the other forms there. Leaflets can be relatively sort of middle priced, but they take time and effort to deliver, or there's a cost for somebody else to deliver them. So personally, have a look at some of the low cost or low risk advertising first before you start spending on things like local press and leaflets. So for me, what would I do? I start small. I start with the cheapest advertising that I can get my hands on. And that would include things like shop windows, village hall windows, leaflets that I perhaps even produce myself. Anything and everything that I can do on a low cost, low budget, that's low risk. I'd never ever put all my eggs in one basket. Don't just rely on one advert going out, because if you don't get a good response, you'll get despondent and down about it and you'll get frustrated. You also need to make sure you test your adverts. Don't just design an advert that looks really cool and then run it forever. Test an advert, see what response you get. Then think about changing it and changing it again until you get the best response you possibly can. And that also means that you have to measure the response. If you're not measuring the response from an advert, you shouldn't be running the advert. End of story. Because how could you possibly know, coming back to our starting rule, you can't know if you don't measure response how that advert's performing. Does it pay for itself? And if it doesn't, stop it. Simple as that. Forget what the competition's doing. Forget what anybody else is doing. It doesn't matter. Just because somebody else is advertising in a paper or a particular place doesn't mean you have to. If it pays for itself, you should. If it doesn't, you shouldn't. Now, I hope that's a helpful one. That's a really important message to understand. If you're another 19 like this, go to fitnessinstructorrevolution.com/FAQ. Thanks ever so much. Bye-bye.